The hardest part of moving forward is not the path ahead, it's the weight that you're carrying from your past. When a snake sheds its skin, it doesn't bring the skin with him. The part of building your new identity is to leave your old self behind. We are all meant to be more. What part of your old self are you still trying to protect? A lot of us are still trying to protect the parts of ourselves that served us 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and while we're trying to live the lives that were present in today's world. What needs to be realized is you're working out of an old identity that doesn't serve you any longer. Until you take an assessment of who you are as an individual today and what your wants and needs are and what your goals are, you're always going to be operating out of an outdated system. And the sooner you take accountability of the change that you want and the lack of change that you've had in your past, the sooner you can start to kind of build your identity around the future that you want. For those who don't know me, my name is Garcha. I've been a mortgage broker for over a decade and I run a successful 7-figure business. And today we're going to be talking about identity. Sometimes the things that once helped you survive are now preventing this version of you from thriving. I used to have this identity of being a successful business owner. I always identified myself as this on-the-go, hyperactive, goals-oriented, numbers-focused individual, and the focus has always been and always was the outcome. Oh, I need to earn more money. I need to build a bigger business. I need to grow more. As you start to get older, I realized that the hustle me that was serving me in my 20s of being a go-getter, always being active, wanting to achieve financially, it's no longer serving me in my 30s. And that identity needed to be reestablished, and I needed to shed that part of myself before I could take the next step forward. The best story that I can tell you about this is me being a car guy. I always thought of myself as the car guy. I always wanted a nice car. So when I was in university, I used to drive around this old Honda Accord. And as soon as I graduated, I used to see, on the street, like, oh my God, this guy's driving a Mercedes Benz, or this guy's driving an Audi. Oh, he has a Porsche. I always associated driving luxury cars as a form of success. And with the driving those cars, it would come as validation of my success and my hard work. Driving fancy cars as a milestone in my life. I wanted to be able to taste the fruits of my labor. When my car kind of started breaking down and I had started working, earning a little bit of money, instantly I felt this desire to say, hey, now I can afford to drive this car. I'm gonna go buy myself my first car that I bought for myself when I started working and earning good money was an Audi. I brought it home, kind of had a moment of appreciation and was like, yeah, I did it. This was a reward for me, and I'm driving this nice car. As the days kind of go on, for the first couple weeks, you shine up your car, make sure there's not a speck of dust on the inside. You wash it almost every single day. You keep it nice and clean. And then eventually you get used to it. The feeling of accomplishment or sitting in that car, it diminishes. But you're still stuck with making the payments for your car. The applause stops. No one really recognizes you for driving that car. It's just like, oh yeah, that's your car. It dissipates very, very fast, but the commitment for keeping a car like that, I think my first car was a 3-year lease. It's still a long-term commitment. So then slowly the desire of that car was like, this is nice. Once in a while, people would still kind of see it like, hey, you have a nice car. You start to realize it's not that important. But at that time, it was still, I deserved to drive this car. As I got older, my lease was coming up for renewal. So at this point, I'm about 27 years old. I worked really hard. I made more money than I could have imagined. I beat all my targets that I set for myself. I deserve a better car. So then I went ahead and bought myself a Mercedes Benz. I think it was a C43. I walked into the dealership and I was like, wow, this is nice. And to me, it felt like it was a goal that I had achieved, just the ability to be able to walk into the dealership and say, I'm interested in buying a car like this. I grew up in a very humble family where luxury cars weren't really a thing. Everyone in our household had Toyotas and Hondas. I walked into the dealership and I was like, wow, I really want this. And we start crunching numbers. Like, yeah, I can afford this. I've been working hard enough. I bought myself a Mercedes-Benz, brought it home, and everyone applauds for the first couple weeks. Like, wow, your car is so nice. Can I drive it? My buddies wanted to test drive it. And we had a great time for the first couple weeks. But guess what? The payments continue. This was another 3-year lease. I'm still stuck in this cycle. My identity is still, well, now I just drive nice cars. So then I go through this other 3-year period of driving this Mercedes-Benz around, and now I have my lease is coming up again. And I go, well, now I'm 30. I've always driven nice cars, and I worked harder than I did when I bought my Mercedes, so now I deserve even a better car. So then I decided that, you know what, I started earning more money, I'm gonna go drive this Porsche. Had a conversation with my business partner and said, hey, you know, this is the car I feel like I deserve. I've been working really hard, and this is what I want to drive. Wasn't too agreeable. So then I made it a goal for myself because my partner said I couldn't do it. It is something that I feel like I deserve and I need to feed myself. So the following year, worked really hard, went and bought myself this Porsche Taycan. Quite a bit of money, and I still bought it on a lease. And I brought it home, and the same cycle began. Everyone appreciated it. Wow, you have a nice car. Can we drive it? First couple weeks. But then the anxiety started to build. Did I really want this? Is this something that is serving me? Is this who I am? Do I need to be driving this car? That came from a place of an identity crisis. I felt like this wasn't who I am. This isn't something that I need to be driving. Almost seemed as though it was external, a validation that I was chasing by driving this car. I outgrew my old self. I realized that as soon as I sat in the car. The old me would have loved that. It was a sense of accomplishment. It's a really fancy car. The identity of me being the car guy was slowly diminishing. It was something that wasn't serving me anymore. I always saw cars as a reward, the fruit of my labor. And then I realized it's not something that is serving me any longer because I'm not really a car guy. It always just felt like a carrot at the end of the stick for me to chase. I decided that that wasn't the car I wanted, and I actually went back and I returned that car. The moment I returned the car, my wife, now partner at the time, says to me, she goes, are you okay? Do you feel okay? I know this was a big step for you. This isn't something that you do. Kind of looked at her and said, I feel a lot lighter. There was a moment of realization that the person that I was trying to be is no longer who I am. I want to shed some light on who I was in comparison to who I am today. The 25-year-old me would have loved a fancy car, would have loved to make a lot of money, was, wanted to go out and party and was more focused on the now. Fast forward 10 years from now, I'm thinking a lot more on long-term growth. I want to have a sustainable business. I want to have a consistency in my life. I feel more so that I want to have a family. I want my family to be safe, healthy, and happy. I want to be able to provide for them. I want to make sure that we have a nice home for my family. I want to make sure that my parents are taken care of as they're starting to age. I would get up when I was 25 and go to work. Whereas now, the appreciation that I have at the age of 35 of the slow mornings, that I get to spend a couple hours with our baby, I get to work out, and then I get to come into work with the right mindset. The identity of being essentially selfish at the age of 25 to now more forward thinking at the age of 35, the selfish identity that was serving me to make a bunch of money has become a lot more unselfish, has become a lot more forward thinking. You have to be willing to shed pieces of yourself to create space for the growth. If you're constantly trying to hold on to what was serving you 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you'll never have room for growth. A lot of people talk about their high school friends. When they were 18 years old, they're still the same person when they were 28 years old, because they feel that 18-year-old was the best version of themselves. You have to be continually willing to break apart the best version of yourself in your past to add new pieces to improve and upgrade your identity. When a snake sheds its skin, it doesn't bring the skin with him. And the part of building your new identity is to leave your old self behind. That constantly has to come from leaving your relationships behind, leaving the things that once served you, that once gave you joy, that no longer give you joy, behind. People have had the same friends of years and years. There's nothing wrong with that. You should have long-lasting friendships. But if your friendships are no longer serving you, and if it's something that's more holding you back than helping you grow, it should be something that you're willing to let go and walk away from, because at the end of the day, we are all meant to be more. We should constantly be striving for growth and for you to attain and be the best version of yourself. The hardest part of moving forward is not the path ahead, it's the weight that you're carrying from your past. And you have to make the decision to let go of your friendships that no longer serve you, the hobbies that no longer feed or help you grow. It could be things as simple as going out every night, or going out on the weekends, or drinking or smoking. Once you choose to let go of those things, you become the best version of yourself. I'm here to help you become the best version of yourself.